Come now, all you mangy dogs. Swab the decks and hoist the sails. The guns on board be needing some proper manning. Pieces of 8 and a fine wench on your arm, if your work be not too shoddy. Careful not to flounder too badly, though, or you may have to dance the hempen jig as we see you to Davy Jones. Jeffy, my boy, on with the show.
Welcome, everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys, to our weekly edition, feature edition, Pirate Radio Podcasts. It's episode number 323 with Miami-based Naturopath, Dr. Randi Shannon. Before we get to her and her biography, let us remind you that WPRPN.com is the website you want to drop by. Of course, I, myself, and your host as always, Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. Let's not leave that little piece of, information out of the picture. Sign up is free via WPRPN.com. All you simply need is a username, password, and email. From there, everything should be pretty much straightforward. If you do happen to run into any problems along the way, don't hesitate in getting back to us via our main email, pirate1radio@protonmail.com. That's pirate, the numeral 1radio@protonmail.com. We'll take whatever steps are necessary, helping to smooth things over and get you sailing off in just the sort of direction you hope to be. Be sure as well to take a few moments to check out the show description end of things. We have a lot of helpful, very handy dandy social media links available there, including our Teespring store, a wide selection of t-shirts and coffee mugs, among other things, up for grabs. Patreon presence, where you can actually connect with us for free. We do have things running over there on it's a per item basis, the pledge that people put forward. But if you just want to connect with us via Patreon, you can do that with no obligation, at no cost whatsoever. So DLive, Minds.com, BitChute, and Odyssey, they've all got their own in-house digital reward systems. So do keep that in mind as well, whether it's ourselves or any number of your other favorite independent, alternative, underground content providers. Definitely a way of showing your support for them, helping them out. This does take a lot of time, effort, and energy, a lot more than maybe what most people realize, delivering the goods, the product, time and again, week in, week out. So even if just sharing the links, leaving your comments, liking, of course, sending word along to your friends, family, and coworkers, that really is powerful stuff too. Along with remembering to hit the subscription and notification buttons. That is something we always very much appreciate. So, Pirate1Radio@protonmail.com, the aforementioned email address, is in fact our PayPal, what we have running in conjunction with PayPal, but it also is really helpful to take note of if you have any show suggestions or guest ideas you'd like to send our way. So definitely keep that in mind. And the fact that half of everything that we do manage to generate here does go directly back to the grassroots, very much, of course, in conjunction with the whole hashtag WWRHD, what would Robin Hood do ethos and philosophy. All right, Miami-based naturopath Dr. Randi Shannon, someone who specializes in the ancient art of face, tongue, and fingernail analysis. She's appeared on the Sean Hannity, Charlie Ward, and Power Hour radio shows, serving as a Fox affiliate talk show host for 8 years. Dr. Shannon is also a familiar voice on numerous podcasts. Recently, she made it to the Amazon bestseller list with her children's book, Tongue Tales. Not to be confused with the state that I so often find myself in, that uh, simply being tongue tied. But she's also now looking forward to the release of her upcoming cookbook, The Wholesome Platter. So, Dr. Randi, I'm not sure if moose tongue, if that falls into the category, qualifies in your mind at least, uh, as wholesome platter, but it is a traditional Canadian, I guess you'd say maybe folk delicacy. You ever heard of moose tongue?
I have heard of that, but I've never met anyone who ate it. So this is amazing. So how did you cook it? What's your suggestion?
You'd have to ask my dad.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. When I was, I think, around 12, I shot a moose. It was the only moose I ever murdered, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a pretty. It's something I live with to this day. Actually, uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's a yeah. So, but we made the most of the meat. I said a little prayer at the time, just in the, I was aware of the native tradition of, you say a
Mm-hmm.
prayer of thanks, gratitude, and forgiveness as well too for the act that you've committed. It's you know uh, not good at all as a practicing Buddhist. Very much contrary to the way that one is, you know, supposed to go about living their life. But that, I haven't murdered too many things in my life, so uh, that was the real that was about the extent of things back in the day. Rites of passage. My dad was really proud of me, as you could imagine, and we made the most of the meat, and I think even shared with some of the neighbors. But yeah, moose tongue. You'll have to look into it and
Okay.
see if it's compatible with what you're sharing with the world there. So, but Tongue Tales, it's a children's book, and that's congratulations. It's been a big seller, has it?
Thank you. Yes. It beat a whole lot of categories. I don't even know what all they were. So I just kind of stick with the one Amazon bestseller. So I'm thrilled to have that out there. And it was about educating kids to take a look at animals' tongues, and then the end of the book ends on them grabbing a mirror and taking a look at their own
Right.
and bringing awareness, because it has everything to do with what we don't even know as adults.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That was actually one of the last things I did before uh, launching the show here this week.
mhm.
Try to take a semi close look at my tongue in the mirror. I don't think there's any major problems, but I guess we'd have to send you a picture for you to really make a
Yeah,
proper
you
analysis. You in
you
fact,
have to send it.
right. Speaking of which, you sent a handful of photos of, I guess, people, celebrities that whose faces really caught your attention. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mickey Rooney, Reagan, Sonny Bono, and Jerry Springer. No women, as far as I can recall, but
I think there was one in there.
okay. Well, what was it about their faces that caught your attention?
Every line, every crack or crevice on the tongue, every spot, every ridge, everything that happens to our skin actually means something.
Mhm.
And the medical community would have everyone believe that these things just happen. Oh, as you age. Oh, as you get in the sun. Oh, it's normal for everyone. And in actuality, it's not. So I'm 56 and have no lines or wrinkles on my face. So it's not because I have Botox or filler. I actually am very much against those things because, especially now, people really need to be careful because it's my understanding that some of the things that were in the jab are now being put into that. So they're really trying to get to the population. And if I was, it's mainly women that put those in, but there is men as well. If they're doing that, I would highly suggest that they stop immediately and focus on building the core, which is what I do personally.
The Botox is what you're talking about as being a major problem. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So in those pictures that I sent you, it was literally just a random, meaningless search on the internet. And I pulled out, I just said famous famous people or something like that. It was just a real random keyword. And it threw these different people up. So I was just kind of looking for people that I could see straight on. And I was looking at their faces. And I don't know if you're able to put those up, but uh, each one of them has different things that stand out to me that health wise, if they're not feeling it yet, they will be sooner or later feeling the issues that I see because their organs are screaming out. And when people have these markings on the face or on the skin or on the tongue or the fingernails, it's the organs literally screaming out saying, "Hey, I need some help.
Mm-hmm.
Help me."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I checked my toenail actually as well too. I'm concerned. Well, all my nails because in the lead up to the show, uh, I'm concerned about diabetes. Actually, I've yet to, I guess, go get There's a blood test that you can take. It's pretty straightforward
Hmm.
from what I understand. But yeah, a little bit of dry skin in the toe area, but also yellowing. This is a concern to
Hmm.
me. I just, I'm not. I think as it may be to you. Let's get in the light here. It's just a discoloration, slight discoloration on my left toe here. It kind of and almost yellowing sometimes. The texture it's a little too dry and
Hmm.
rough. Maybe it's bumpy, slightly
Hmm.
bumpy as well too. But what would
Yeah,
you
I'd want
just
to see that.
yeah? What would you think
And
just off the top of your head? Any
off the top of my head,
guesses?
candida sounds and liver
Uh-oh.
are just, but I would want to see it to verify.
Did you say
Hmm.
candidas?
Yeah, candida can grow to biblical
Oh
proportions in
God.
the body.
Oh no.
And it's a nonstop fight. It comes
Mm,
and it goes based on you getting rid of it. And
right. Oh
the
God.
medical doctors would tell a person, "Oh, here's an antibiotic." Well,
Yeah.
I never want somebody to take an antibiotic because they're killing off the good guys too. We have good guys in there. We have fighters, but the bad are very overpowering and they love to kick a person when they're down. So if you get sick from something random, uh, they'll make you sicker. You won't know that because you just feel bad in general.
Right.
But it could be biblical proportions in your body if you're seeing it all the way down into the toes.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
candida, that's related to cancer, is it not? To fungus?
candida is just
Fungus?
bad, yeah, fungus, bad gut bacteria. Hmm.
Well, I tell you, one thing I'll freely admit is I eat too much sugar. I'm a chocoholic, and I know it's
Yeah,
bad
and
for
they
me.
love it.
Yeah,
They thrive on it.
it's fueling a lot of potentially bad things, I guess, really, is what,
Hmm.
yeah.
What's your sugar of choice?
Well, just kind of like chocolate, Kit Kats and
Hmm.
basically that.
Yeah.
I've been trying to cut back. I really have. Schwarzenegger. It's interesting. You have his picture there, and we have it in the slideshow. We actually have you on screen right now. You may be able to see yourself through Skype here.
Okay.
We'll transition back and forth between the two. But
Oh, okay, good.
The one thing, I'm not a huge fan of Schwarzenegger. You do have him in the
No,
slideshow,
I'm not either.
right?
Most of those people I didn't like.
Screw your freedoms. Take the
Mm-hmm,
experimental kill shot.
mm-hmm.
It's good for you. We tell you it's good for you, yeah.
Yeah, in fact, most of those people I didn't like, but I was like, I'm just going to throw them up. It's good to
Yeah.
poke at people I
Yeah,
don't like.
yeah. Well, and Mickey Rooney, what a character he was, right? So Sonny
Hmm.
Bono, and oh boy, I tell you. But anyways, we've all got our lives to live, and
Hmm.
it takes all sorts to make the world go round. Uh, but Schwarzenegger, the one, he offered a little bit of advice back in the past. One of the interviews I saw him uh, offer, and that he talked about cutting cutting back, taking where you usually take the whole amount of something that is bad for you. Just take half. Just try to take half. Cut back. Take half, and then I guess you reach the point where you just try to take another half of that, and cut it back to a quarter over time, right? So that's what I try to do with the chocolate. I've been really sleep as well too. That's one of my main issues. I've been kind of still aware of as of late. Kind of
Hmm.
following through boob tube and elsewhere. But I just heard last night there's a 30% um, the level of risk of death if you oversleep. It's can be as high as 30% more than people who stick to the 7 or 8 hour cycle. Do you know about that?
I don't know about that. Who
Yeah.
said that one?
Just some commentator
Hmm.
through YouTube just last night. But I think you would agree, though, that we have to stick to a 7 or 8 hour cycle. Is that right? Oversleeping.
Yeah, easily. The body heals when we sleep. So when I have clients and I have uh, amazing success with my clients, one of the things I say to them is if you're tired, don't fight it. Go ahead and go to sleep.
Huh.
Catch that nap. And your body is telling you, hey, I need to, and just do it. So if your body is tired, let it sleep.
Huh.
I don't know that I buy into whatever it was that you heard. Um, I do believe more in the, get up with the sun, go down with the sun. And that pretty much ensures that you get plenty of sleep. Uh, Cutting out things like the computer, like the TV, the cell phones, cutting the Wi Fi, those things are very important so that we get really good quality sleep and not something that's super disrupted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a
I've
night.
never heard of anybody that got too much sleep. I've never heard
Really?
that from not one of my clients.
Oh,
So,
so I'm a night
yeah.
owl.
Hmm.
Is my issue, and a lot of people that are into radio, as you probably are aware, live streaming and so forth, very much of that's the way they roll, as it were. So working on it though, definitely working on it. Cutting back on the coffee. That's before going to sleep and whatnot. But yeah, all right. Just doing a little multitasking right now. Pumping
Okay.
things up over on X, reminding a few of the links that we have uh, floating out and about via social media. Big shout out here to Esther 23, uh, who's joined us via YouTube. Good to see you, Esther.
Nice.
Yeah, it's someone who not too clear on. I mean, she's dropped in and made herself a presence here on several occasions. So we'll get to know her
Oh,
over
very nice.
time. And
Hmm.
there's a number of lurkers, as typically the case. And we have this kind of shotgun spray approach via the multiple platforms: D Live, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Well, I got to say though, one of the problems that we're having with Facebook is the shadow
Hmm.
banning, and it's really bad. Where we do a live stream like this, for example, and they'll hit us up with all kinds of copyright strikes, saying that, oh,
Ah.
you played music,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you did all these things that
Remember the back in the day where you could play anything and it was just, I mean, it was fine. It was easy. It had a good flow to it.
yeah.
Yeah, I just had a show knocked out that was 8 years old, and it was talking about the benefits of three letters. I hope I don't get you knocked out. One started with C, and the other one ended with D. So, in the middle one
B.
was B. Yeah.
Okay, CBD. Yeah.
So, and they said the WHO didn't agree with that, and so they took my video off. And it was very good video. It was very good information. I was pretty shocked that
Wait a
they're
minute. Did you say that goes back 8 years?
8 years ago. And
So,
they just did it literally like 3 weeks ago. They took it down.
and they actually told you, they gave you the reason? They,
Yeah,
they
that
said,
it doesn't align with the WHO's belief in that.
do you know
Yeah.
who the WHO actually is?
Well, somebody not good because they say things like fasting is no good. If you look up fasting now, the WHO sites come up and they put three medical doctors on there that all don't agree with fasting.
Yeah,
Fasting is very healthy for you.
right. Oh my God,
Hmm.
this is just crazy.
Yeah.
So, well, from my understanding, and this is one of the first things, interestingly, as you may recall, Trump signed off on. He withdrew the U.S. from the WHO, did he not?
I thought he did. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah,
now we have a couple monsters in the seat. So it's been really downhill. You probably are enjoying your life over there, but over here it's every day something in the news, and it's unbelievable. It never ends.
I don't. Life's not easy for anyone. Trust me, especially an expat living here. You really do stand out. A sore thumb. Sometimes in a good way with the
Mhm.
discrimination. Other time, so it's positive discrimination. Other times,
Mhm.
not so much. But I'm just looking forward to getting out and soaking up all this vitamin D that uh, Bill Gates is wanting to block. With
And they're being very successful,
with
which is mind blowing.
the.
Because here I am in Miami,
Mhm.
and we have a great governor, and yet that's still going on in the sky. How's that happening?
You're talking about the geoengineering.
Yeah. We went almost 4 months without the sun. It started just before Thanksgiving. We've just finally gotten it back in the last 2 weeks or so.
And well, actually, yeah, because I did rip, I think, off of either your X account or maybe
Hmm.
Facebook, this the cow fart kind of satire chemtrail meme we've got
Yeah.
in the slideshow here. So you're down with that whole business. You've investigated, and what's your take?
Anything that's common sense,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
government is just completely against.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
common sense.
Hmm.
So trees need carbon
Right.
uh,
Ding, ding, ding.
dioxide to create oxygen.
Right.
And
Oh, yeah.
so, but now they
Yeah.
want to get rid of, we had a chicken plant go up,
Oh
and
my
we
God.
got
Yeah.
20,000, I think,
Yeah.
acres in Texas has been on fire. It's killing cows, and
Oh,
yeah,
that's
anyone in the
that's
path.
that's breaking news now, is it? Because I think it is. Just in the last day or so, these fires have taken off throughout.
Yeah, it's been like in the last 24 hours, and it was burning something like 2 football fields every few seconds.
Oh my God. How did it start?
Right. Uh, you know, $1 million question, right?
Well, Maui.
How do
Let's
any of these
let's
start?
yeah, look at Maui as just speaking of fires that mysteriously uh come out of pretty much nowhere, and everything that potentially could go wrong does. East
Hmm.
Palestine, I mean, just 9/11. It just goes on and on. I'm not sure where you stand with the whole October 7th business. and Netanyahu's a very unpopular man, even in the eyes of his own country people at present, but definitely it's like it is their Pearl Harbor. He's right about that. It is their September
Hmm.
11th. He's right about that. Yeah, hashtag inside job. So it's what we regard here as the war on humanity, full spectrum dominance, the war on humanity, and it's the with the water that we drink, the air we breathe, the education
Hmm.
system, our media is weaponized, technology, uh, me, the health, as you're well aware, obviously, and
Hmm.
it's really just endless, right down to every last little nanoparticulate. So,
Yeah,
uh, are you
I've thought
aware?
of everything.
Are you with the kill shots, as we refer to them here,
Hmm.
uh, down in Skullport Harbor? Uh, many quite hip to the whole kill shot business. But are you aware of how that actually does apparently align with 5G, now 6G, I guess, and the whole
Well,
Wi-Fi
yeah,
technology?
somewhat. I mean, it's definitely not my expertise, but
Right.
the things that I have seen so far is, it's that is going to give off something. This is the speculation that it's going to give off something or, trigger something in the bodies of the people that took something 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's all very scary to think about, and to calm my people down, my clients that come to me, and they do come to me from all over the world. I'm in Miami, but nobody comes to see me in person. No one. Everyone just sends pictures, and then I look at faces, fingernails, tongues, other marks of concern on the body, and then I work off of that. And so to keep the peace, to keep the calm, because there's a lot of people that are having a lot of anxiety over what's going on. And I say you control what you can. Number one is taking care of your health. So I will say I'm busier today than I've ever been in my entire career because people are having these anxieties, people are stressed out. But on top of that, when I go on shows like this, one of the things that I really hammer is to the men that we really need our men to stand up against all of this and to be ready. So if you're, 100 pounds overweight, or you haven't went to the range in a while, or you are sickly, you're battling different things, even if it's blood pressure or a blood sugar issue or a bone and joint issue or even cognitive issues, fill in the blank, whatever it is, doesn't matter. We need our people in this country to get healthy. There's a really insane commercial, and I bet you know about it. It was years ago, and it was a what's the car that has like the pitchfork in their logo?
Oh God.
Um,
Pontiac.
Ben- it's like Bentley, but maybe it's not Bentley.
Oh, Mercedes?
I don't think it was
Or
Mercedes either.
BMW?
Nope, wasn't them. It's
Anyway,
whoever's got
yeah, yeah.
anyone put it in the chat for him. Um, so that you can let me know. But it was a Super Bowl commercial,
Uh-huh.
and it was so creepy. And it was this little kid narrating it, and it said, "We wait for them to get sleepy. We wait for them, And they basically showed like people obese, and they're waiting for us to just be lulled to sleep, and then it says, and then we strike." And in the commercial, they, zip off in the car and they rev the engine. It's very expensive. I can't think of which kind of car it is. It has like a pitchfork in their logo. It might be Bentley. Um, you'd have to look it up real quick and see if that's the one. But the whole commercial was, and then we strike, and you can still see it. It's on YouTube still today. You just look up creepy Super Bowl commercial or We Strike Super Bowl commercial. And the whole theme of the Super Bowl that year also was We Strike. And so relating that to health, the food is toxic. The air is toxic, the water is toxic. People, will eat anything and they're just filling the body. They're just, they're having cravings. And these cravings are fueled not because the body really wants chocolate, but it really wants phosphorus or selenium or, fill in the blank with any vitamin or mineral. It's craving that. It really doesn't want the garbage. But that's, if you go to the grocery store, that's all you find is all of the garbage.
That's right.
So while I don't like Schwarzenegger, he finally did something good, made a good statement, I guess, about backing off slowly of the bad things.
Right.
I mean, that was good advice.
Yeah.
I tell my clients the same. So hopefully the listeners will write this down or go back and listen to the replay. The things that are toxic to us, and a lot of people will disagree with my list, but the things that are toxic to us, even if they have one or two good benefits, they probably have 5, 6, maybe 7 that aren't good. So what am I talking about? Things like wheat, barley, rye, oatmeal, or buckwheat. They have 3 things in them, and the masses of the public. So I have been waiting for someone to pick up when I say this in an interview, what I'm about to say. And then you watch, all the influencers are going to be running at the mouth with what I'm about to say. These things that are in them are super toxic. We eat them, they go down through our digestive system, they get into the small intestine, and they just wreck it. It's supposed to look like a shaggy rug in there, and these things that I'm going to mention wreck it, and it makes it more like a glass cylinder. So I'll get people that come to me 50, 60 years old and say, I was just diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic. Well, that's a misdiagnosis. It's not true. Doctor doesn't know what they're talking about, have no clue why that person was diagnosed with that. So in those foods, wheat, barley, rye, oatmeal, and buckwheat, there's things called glutens, gliadins, and phagopyrenes. And, so even if you find an oatmeal where it says, well, it's gluten-free, great, it still has gliadins. And they're just as destructive to the digestive system as the glutens and the phagopyrenes, which nobody's talking about those. So our food is toxic. And there's so many, we've been brainwashed into thinking that wheat flour is pretty much the only thing that's out there. Not true. How about sweet potato, cauliflower, cassava, almond flour? All of those things are good. They're great for us. No side effects, not going to harm you.
Sweet potatoes, yams are big here in South Korea.
Yeah, they're so yummy too, and they have much more of a nutritional value.
Yeah, absolutely. And big shout out here to Joey Boomer, who's dropped into the chat just the last couple of minutes. So he's Mr. Health guy as
Okay.
well. He'll have a lot to hopefully offer in the discussion. So he's a fellow expat, actually, lives here in South Korea with his family. So yeah,
very nice.
yeah.
Joey Boomer. Does that
Joey.
tell me his age range?
Pretty much, I guess there's something to that going on for sure. But now, okay, sort of shifting gears a little bit,
Sure.
and focus. We can come back to any of these, thoughts, comments, or issues throughout the course of things. And in case people are wondering, yes, this is episode number 323 of Pirate Radio Podcasts with this week's featured guest via Miami. I think it's Miami. Yeah, sure. Miami, Florida. Absolutely. Dr. Randi Shannon. And what I was going to ask you about, there's so much we could talk about here, but it's the naturopath, the spate, the rather strange. Haven't heard too much about it as of late, but there was investment bankers, and then there was these biochemistry scientists that along with the naturopaths, all of them in these clusters seem to be dying under rather mysterious circumstances.
Yeah.
Did you
Whenever they start, yeah,
were you following
there's
that at all? Yeah.
yeah, I haven't looked at it lately. I do feel like I heard about another one dying about a month ago. I have heard over 100. I've also heard over 400, just naturopaths.
Great. Well, and
Yeah.
this is all peculiar circumstances, or just no, it was all very much natural and nothing too fishy.
It's definitely fishy.
Oh my
If
God!
anybody believes that this is natural, they're nuts. It's
Wow.
absolutely, they're getting picked off. And that's a
Jeez.
problem. People are getting picked off. And I don't think they're interested in me because I'm not out there really, poking the bear. I'm not doing anything. I'm not in a science lab coming up with new things to counteract what they're doing. That's really not my wheelhouse. It's the ones that do the whistleblowing that are uh, coming up with concoctions, or they're taking apart the jab, and they're exposing what's out there, and they are admirable people, and what they do is admirable and honorable to the rest of the world, and it's needed and necessary what they're doing. I just wish that this group of people, if you're going to do that, wise up, get some security, be prepared. Don't wind everybody up and say, well, I'm going to announce it tomorrow, and then you hold it close to the cuff and then you're dead that night. So uh, mysteriously, it's a lot of heart attacks with a group of people that's supposed to be some of the healthiest people on the planet Earth. I have zero wrong with me. There's no way that I could drop from a heart attack. Zero, zip, zilch, nada. I take care of my heart like there's no tomorrow.
Not feeling
So,
too suicidal these days?
zero, no. And that's the other thing about naturopaths. They're the most level minded people. They're very, they're not partiers. They're not living some risky life. And yet they're still dropping like flies. So, yeah, I mean, you just got to look at it. Everybody knows that there's something very sinister going on. Get rid of the people. I mean, when the news started to happen in 2020, I had been a Fox affiliate talk show host for 8 straight years. And it wasn't a huge show, but being able to say Fox affiliate was like a big deal at the time.
Sure.
And yeah, and we played, our show went to multiple states. Um, and when that news came down and the lockdowns happened, the show was absolutely killed, no warning, after 8 years. So they got rid of a lot of dissenting voice. I don't think they were worried
Wow.
about me. Yeah, but we had heard this news about what was happening off in China. So, I might have made some commentary on it, but I wasn't even that concerned about anything. I said, absolutely, like I was not buying into it,
Yeah.
because who knew that there was biological weapons being made in a lab that they were going to accidentally lose or use on the people, or what, who knows. But so when I was making my commentary on it, I'm sure they already had all this AI in place, and they were just picking up who do they want to nix on the air so that they don't speak out about this.
Well,
So
absolutely. You're familiar with the whole lockstep agenda, I would imagine,
mhm.
via the Rockefellers. They're the ones who, take credit for that, of course, and hashtag lockstep. A lot of our listeners are up to speed on that whole end of things, of course. And you're exactly right. The dissenting voices needed to be shut down. Humiliation, ridicule wasn't enough. They needed to be completely silenced, and that's what we found here through these dinosaur legacy social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Thank God for Elon Musk. I know not everyone is a fan, but I would argue that things have definitely taken a turn for the better since he, and that created a big stir, as you probably
Hmm.
well know, with him, uh, buying the company for, what was it, $44 billion, I guess, was the total price tag,
Yeah.
just last year. Uh, but
Well,
yeah,
money.
it's a war for our minds, as the likes of Alex Jones and others talk about.
Hmm.
And the term, let's not forget, government itself. I'm not, don't know if you're clear on this, but it literally, break it down. It means mind control, governmente.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there was a few years ago, I kind of went down that rabbit hole of all of that. I used to host a law call, and I could tell you crazy stories about that. And finally, one day, the pressure was so bad on that I ended it and walked away from it because I still had minor sons at home. So I wasn't. I was apparently poking the bear a little too much, and I was just the host. So I had a lot of knowledgeable people on there that would break all of those types of things down. But you know what I love is every time they do something, the people bounce back even greater because they're so creative, at least the ones who have made it this far. And I kind of just believe that this is a survival of the smartest. Maybe it'll come down to who's the fittest as well, depending on what happens in our country. But um, for example, everybody kind of, the people that are awake to what's really going on have turned away from the medical community the way it is. And there's a group of people, for example, that started more of a grassroots sharing program, not insurance, so they're not bound by all the laws, but yet they have doctors all becoming a part of it. It was more like the way the churches used to be way back. And even I can get behind this and have gotten behind it. I have never supported traditional insurance ever. And because you couldn't choose your doctor, it was who was in the radius, I guess. And there's so much just scam to it. So this share group that popped up uh, way back when Obama got in, if you didn't pay to play, and I may not have all the facts about this, but this is pretty close. If you didn't pay to play and you owned a Chrysler dealership, for example, then they shut down. They didn't renew your license. I had friends that owned a dealership and theirs did not get renewed. They'd been in business in that town for 30, 40 years. And because they were right leaning and weren't willing to donate, they lost their license. It was unbelievable. So one of the Chrysler brothers or family members partnered with a medical doctor that wasn't all about giving the thing to his clients. And so then they were going after his license and all kinds of stuff. So they partnered up.
you're talking about, just to jump in here briefly, giving the thing, the kill shots, the experimental kill shots.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So these two men partnered up and they created a sharing program. And I love this sharing program. I'm very much involved in this now because they support home births or births with doulas. So not having to go to the hospital. They support things like acupuncture and chiropractic, which the medical community still is down on chiropractors who their knowledge is unbelievable. And so it supports it. And they pay these doctors within 15 to 20 days as opposed to dragging it out and make these guys have to beg to get paid. It's ridiculous. So the thing about Americans, will just say, because that's where I'm at, the resilience is amazing. How people, bounce back. So I've shared this sharing program with business owners. They're flocking to it. And I want to work with people all over this country with that because my clients are all over this country and they will support, all these holistic methods, whereas traditional insurance doesn't. So anybody listening to this that wants to be a part of something that I'm a part of that is doing that, I would love for them to reach out and, get in touch with me. And then even when I lost the radio show, at that point, I had been traveling all around the country giving lectures, but I was bound by one network, if you will, for the radio show. But once they took that away, I sat there and said, okay, what do I do now? And I came up with, you know what? Why not be a guest on other people's shows?
Mm-hmm.
And now my audience and my reach has gone literally. We're in Seoul, South Korea tonight. My night, your day. And my voice carries so much farther. So, in a way, they did me a favor. For the doctor who was bound by the insurance and the Chrysler family member who had this path but didn't know how to put it together, now they're pulling in people like me. And anyone can be a part of this. I talked to a woman the other day that works for a company with 1,000 employees and they can't stand their insurance. And so I said, put me in touch with the HR person because I'll talk to them about this kind of sharing program, not insurance. Because if you play in their game and you call it insurance, then all the regulators get, a hand over you. So they're able to get around all of that junky stuff. And it works really well. So my reach now is huge compared to what it was. My business now, compared to then, I was dealing with people in like 3 states, 4 states. Now I'm in not only every state, but 18 total countries, maybe 19 now. So, they did me a favor. They think they're smart, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They think they're smart. They have managed to do a lot of damage all over this world, which is really unfortunate. And a lot of people have lost their lives. But we all do have a choice. We all have decisions to make, whether we stand or don't stand, whether, you listen to a job saying, oh, you have to take it. There's a lot of lawsuits flying now, and people are winning the lawsuits. That's just lies where they say, oh, you can't go back after them. That's a lie. And if somebody passed away, that's a wrongful death. And that needs to be dealt with, especially if it was forced on
Yeah. Oh,
them.
hell yeah. The fraud. Fraud. I guess it negates all contractual agreements where they have. I guess leading up to the whole scamdemic, the powers that be really worked hard in. What was it that they needed to have so that they could be not held accountable? There's the term.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Uh,
Immunity. They had immunity.
exactly. So, but in the event of fraud, apparently that's like all off the table, and then why completely negated. Why is it that? I mean, we're getting people, those who supposedly are representing us or that we've elected to represent us have a
They're
really
insane.
peculiar, well, yeah, and they've got a really peculiar way of going about doing things. So many are compromised, unfortunately. And that's the
Yeah.
problem, is that they're out there actors on the stage with a lot of deep, dark secrets that they know, uh, not all, of course, but many, that if they either step down and are no longer a part of the political world, as it were, or they play the game and they play along
Mhm.
in accordance with how it is they're expected to, or they'll have to they'll pay the price, obviously, in one way or another. So it doesn't seem that complicated, really, from the standpoint of uh, just the Machiavellian nature, the way things, the realpolitik, I suppose, as some refer to it. But let's see what we've got here. couple of other talking points. I'm really blown away just with your YouTube. Well, a couple of things here. First of all, we will talk about your YouTube because it has so much great content. You haven't done much in the last month or so, it looks like, but I was really, really impressed. Before we get to that, though, let's. How do people then? What's the best way of them contacting you so they can learn more about how to uh, meet others? Come together with others, and basically learn more about what it is that you're talking about, so they can thrive and not end up being completely fleeced by the
Yeah.
system as status quo as it is.
Yep. Because once they get you, they don't give you up. They're more into disease management.
Uh-huh.
And I'm more into, hey, let's just get this reversed so that you can live a good, great quality life.
Yeah.
The average life in the States is somewhere around 73. The average medical doctor only lives to about 56.
Yeah, I saw that. That's right.
Yeah. So, do you really want to take advice from them? Naturopaths have been around since the dawn of time, but my expertise is 5,000-year-old original medicine that you said, at the very beginning. And, I'm 56. I don't color my hair. You're hard pressed to find that out on YouTube land, which I am youtube.com/the body and then can, as in the body can heal itself. So youtube.com/the body can. And then my toll free line, which anybody can call, is 844-275-1056. So 844-275-1056. And then if somebody wants to get scheduled with me to reverse their issue, this is what we work on. We work on getting off of prescriptions, getting a healthier diet in place, and it's a diet for life. It's not just a, hey, let's just do this, fad kind of thing. It's real. I live by it. My kids live by it. They're all grown men now. If anybody wants to just straight out schedule with me, they can go look at all the different packages I have. They come with multiple appointments. So when you see the price, you're looking at multiple appointments. I'm not one of those doctors that just wants you to come and be gone. I like to hold your hand through it, stick with you while you're getting that result, stick with you while you're going through it. You might have questions. And I talk with people all the time as they're going through this. So that's my website, which is thebodycan.com/schedule. So the body can, CAN as in November, the letter N.com/schedule. The reason I'm emphasizing that last word is because the internet loves to spell check that to something else. So just be aware of what you're typing in, and you'll be able to get to me. There's various ways. I'm in Instagram, The Body Can, YouTube, The Body Can, Twitter or X, The Body Can. I'm in all of those places. Facebook, same. Okay. So I'm easily found, and there's lots of interviews out there. If you even just do an internet search for my name and naturopathic doctor, you'll find lots of interviews that I've done. And I know that's, possibly what you did, or you picked up stuff off of Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of great information, tons of testimonials. And the one thing I never do is I don't say I can cure anybody. What I say is your body does that. I just help to get it the appropriate nutrients. And then the brain says, oh, wow, thank you for that. And it goes to work and it starts to heal itself. And then we also remove the things where you're sabotaging your body. So if it's a weight issue, bone joint, you think you need a stem cell replacement, I work with a fantastic group out of Antigua. I'm the only referring naturopathic doctor on their board of doctors. If you're looking for an insurance-like product where you're actually covered and you can use nutrients, if you if you had like a deductible on this thing, they are implementing where you can deduct a certain amount, whatever you spent, and put it towards nutrients. So the body needs those things. The body hates, and I mean hates, synthetics. So all these people on bioidenticals, taking things to reverse any of their issues, the body hates that. The body does not recognize that it is a foreign product that you're introducing into the body. And when they make these things, they're actually putting things in them to trick the brain into not rejecting it. Like chemo, for example.
Okay.
Back when it first was being used, people would get violently sick. Well, we know that they can put things in it, and now they call it anti-nausea med. All that is a trick of the brain. Your body, the minute it has chemo, would have you throw up. Why? Because it's revolting to the body, and your body is already sick. And now you're just kicking it and kicking it and kicking it. The body does not want that. You need to lift the body, support the immune system, throw everything amazing at it that's good, and fight it naturally. And we have amazing, amazing testimonials out there. 4 months after a crazy liver cancer, the number markers cut in half by 50% in 4 months. People with stage 4 pancreatic cancer told to get on hospice, totally get their life back. In 30 days, cancer stopped. And it's not me doing it. It's the nutrients. I look at them, I look at the markers, which organs are out, which ones need attention. And then I get to work and implement a protocol to them. They say yay or nay, and boom, we run with it. And we've helped people stop the plan and process and the path of having to go get a knee replacement. People don't think about that's an actual amputation. Have you ever thought of that?
Yeah, we have a peg leg pirate on board here, actually, out of Brooklyn, Vinny from Brooklyn, and I'm not sure what the deal is, but recently he did have his leg to the knee removed, and it wasn't like a staph infection or anything like that, apparently, but
I
it's
wish
just
he had
crazy.
contacted me. He just
Yeah,
hadn't seen anything.
yeah.
We probably would have saved it. We saved gallbladders. Kidneys are one of my favorites. Um, I'm working on a liver. It's the liver. This guy had liver cancer 2 times. The first time, the only thing the medical doctors could come up with was chemo, radiation, and hey, let's cut half your liver out. And then a few years go by, the cancer comes back. He says, I don't really want to do this again. I really want to go a natural route. And he's the one had just mentioned. In 4 months, his markers are cut back by 50%. So
Now, by markers, you mean what exactly? Symptoms, the level of severity, or?
they do a blood test, and they did biopsy, and I don't know what all the tests the medical doctors did, but by their own markers that they go by, they said it was cut back by 50%. And they also told my client, whatever your naturopath is doing, keep on doing it because you're recovering nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we had, you probably don't know his story, but we lost Pirate Larry just this past June. But he actually, yeah, he was in pretty rough shape. Suddenly came down with sepsis, I guess is what it's known as, and just a major attack internally where things started falling apart. They rushed him from Baja, Mexico, up to San Diego,
Mm.
and then I think ultimately up to Los Angeles, where he could spend some time with his family. But it was really touch and go. I think he was in a coma for some time, and you're probably aware how serious sepsis is,
Yeah, it
and
is.
what it does. But he did manage to recover. He did not He did not opt for chemo. He went with radiation therapy and CBDs and so forth. Where in fact, because it was a like a rectal cancer was one of the issues. From what
Hmm.
I understand. So with that, it kind of makes sense, does it not, that you would insert suppositories loaded with CBDs and whatever other good
Yeah.
stuff might
Hmm.
explode, you know, in that region, rather than taking it orally, having to go through your entire system, or both, I suppose. But really, that's yeah. So the point is that he did extend his life. I think it was about 3 years, actually. That
Okay.
so it was kind of a victory lap for him. But yeah,
How old was he?
he was close to 70, I guess, and he'd really, I think, long time smoker, and I'm not sure his diet probably was not the greatest, but
Hmm.
he burnt the candle at both ends. The point
Yeah.
being is just that he did manage to bounce back and recover, uh, adding a few years to his life when you know he could quite have easily been lost right off the bat. So, do you care to talk or just touch on the? Well, this business of sepsis
Yeah.
is one issue, of course, but we got to give a shout out to Faustus, someone who's I guess a friend, colleague, supporter of yours, and without him reaching out and connecting with us, we would never have this opportunity to have launched this week's show. So
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there that really believe in what I do, and they go to work and look for shows to get me on. I do paid speaker platforms, but I have a real love and passion for getting on more of the grassroots platforms that are out there that normally nobody, if they're like a big dog in the big world, they don't even mess with these kinds of things, and I love them because this is my family, this is my home, this is my comfort, in platforms like this. And look at the reach and look at the audience, people that never would have heard this conversation on any other platform. So I love that. It's
WPRPN.com, the People's Pirate Network.
ex- there you go. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So as far as your friend, it's very sad. We're supposed to be living to at minimum 125 years of age.
Oh, wow.
So to be gone at 70, I just feel like he really missed, darn near half his life. And I want the audience to think about this. When you go into a fight, if you're taking a gun into that fight, do you go with it with no ammo in the chambers?
Never take a knife to a gunfight.
Right. And never take an empty gun into a gunfight either.
That's right.
And when we are sick, we are an empty gun. If people can just think about the body that way. So we have to load the gun for the fight. What's the fight? Well, in his case, chemo, radiation, numerous prescription drugs, etc., and the actual ailment itself. So what I do with my clients is we load the gun, and I don't tell anybody that they can't take a prescription. I don't tell anybody that they can't take radiation or chemo. It's an individual decision for everyone. For me personally, that's never happening. Not for my kids. I would hold them down and never allow them out of the room if it meant that they were going to take chemo. I mean, it's not happening. So I do believe in loading the gun. I'm loading the gun all day long, every day. Whenever I eat something, it's thought out. It's going to give me a nutritional value. But you got to remember, when we eat the food, the farmers have figured out that it really only takes 3 nutrients to grow a plant. So that's all they put in the ground, 3 nutrients. And plants don't make minerals, animals don't make minerals. So you're not going to get minerals unless there's a vein with every mineral in the ground where you're planting, say, that head of lettuce. So it's going to be empty. It's not going to have the mineral in it. And without the minerals, we die. An earlier death, we'll say it like that. And that's not the only thing. There's a lot of things that the human body has to have to go into that fight. Think about your car. The car takes oil, gas, spark plugs, steering fluid, brake fluid, tires. There's just unending things, gas. And why would our human body be any less important with what we're putting in it? And people will say, well, I took a little CoQ10 today, or I took a vitamin C today, or, I got a little D3. Well, that's just cherry picking. You're still going to die early if you don't get the full Monty of what the body needs. You mentioned about when you went hunting and the animal that gave its life, you guys ate it, and so there was benefit, and I do get that. That's why we have something called grace, where we, we're thankful for that food, because if you really sit and think about it, the cow, it's like, oh, he was raised to die, but we do have to eat. We are here, and we were given dominion over everything. But there is, it goes the same for plants, and people don't think about that. There's a book out called The Secret Life of Plants. It's actually one of my most favorite books out there. It can be a little dry in some parts, but it's fantastic. And in the book, they did different experiments with plants. They put electrodes on them. Have you ever heard of this book or read it?
What title? One more time, please.
The Secret Life of Plants.
Yeah, I have actually. That's right. I've heard of it, but
okay. It's fantastic.
I know what you're. I think. Let me guess that with the response that plants have, like they're actually living.
Yes.
They have a sentient consciousness about them in some form or another.
Yeah, and people would not believe that, but it was scientific experiments, and they're all in the book. So nobody, and it was a bestseller, so nobody can question it. It's in the book.
Could you flesh that out a little bit then for our listeners, how that played out then?
Okay, so for example, they put the electrodes on a plant that was in a guy's apartment in New York City. So it's in the window. He's always, talking to it, telling it it's beautiful. He's grateful. He's thankful for this plant, putting some positive energy out there. And Tesla said, everything is energy. Everything is vibration.
That's right.
Yeah. So he does this, and then he leaves the apartment after some time, and he goes walking down the street, and he gets into an altercation down the street. I think he's like a mile or two away. And I read this so many years ago, but the plant electrodes start to go nuts. Now, this plant is back a mile or two away. It has no, if there was any possible way of a visual, that guy was out of eye shot. But vibrationally, energy-wise, that plant went nuts. It knew something was up, and it was almost like it was concerned and had emotion over this. Another experiment that they did in the book was they had a plant in a room. And I happened to just see a story the other day. It reminded me. It says, can the CIA use plants to determine if you're lying or not? Yes, they can. Did you know that?
That I did not, but it does make sense. How about let's turn the tables on the CIA. Can we use plants to determine whether they're lying or not?
Well, yeah, we could, but we know they are. so don't even waste your time. But so in the book, they take a plant and they wire it up with the electrodes so that they can measure what's going on with it. They know when it's calm. They know when something's going on. So what they did is they sat a table at a mall, and people were passing by. And you know how around the holiday you'll get like, hey, fill out this form and you get $20 off, or, that sort of thing. You just got to, and in this particular experiment, they said you just have to answer whatever it was, 10 questions, whatever. So a bunch of people said, yeah. And so one of the questions on the test was, did you do this because you were actually curious about what was going to be asked, or was it just for the money? And a bunch of people lied because they actually asked them, okay, was that really the truth? Because they were measuring what the plant was doing. And so when people lied, the plant went nuts. The plant was telling the plant had no relationship with people whatsoever. It wasn't like the one where it was in the window in the apartment. This was a plant who didn't know anybody coming and going that was in there answering those questions. And most people, when they got confronted, they were saying, yeah, it was for the money. So, but they had lied on the questionnaire, and that's when the plant went nuts. They have studied plants at malls at the end. They always have anchor stores at the end, and they did some experiments with those. On one end, it was high traffic. On the other end, it was super low traffic, and they both had the same light, the same water, the same air, the same soil, the same nutrients in the ground. One had high traffic, one did not. So on the high end side, a lot of people would say, oh, what a beautiful tree. Oh, this. And it was all like positive for the most part. On the other side, oh, that tree is kind of dying. Oh, it doesn't look so good. It was all like, just like super down. And those trees were measuring it. That tree on the other side was actually sad. So when you're eating your lettuce, you're eating your salad, you're eating your greens, you're eating your cilantro, we should be thankful for all of it, because it matters about the vibration and the energy coming off of that when you're putting it into your body.
That's a great
Now,
point.
that's not something like, I don't talk about that a lot, but that was no less important in a way than the moose.
That's and that's the holistic philosophy, really,
Yeah.
that you are, kind of unpacking for us. So, absolutely, and music as well too. Let's not forget, music is another
Yes.
example of what I believe the secret life of plants. Well, let's hear about that then. I guess it's all vibration and frequency. Once again, going back to Tesla,
Yeah.
but the hard rock,
Well, there was
the hard rock versus the soft, more loving.
It's the second book that I buy everybody as gifts. It's I'm blanking on the title right now, but it was about water and experiments with water.
Right.
And Dr. Emoto was his name, and
Right.
he would take water, and it was all good, clean water, and every petri dish had the same. And they would pray over some, talk positive things over some, play hard rock music, play classical music. Every petri dish had a different environment as far as what it was, the vibration or the energy that was going towards it. Some would be talked down to, like, oh, you're so ugly, you're I hate you, and da 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 da. All those negative things that every cell in our body hears and is around. So if you're living with a narcissist, get out. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're living with a super positive person, it's probably amazing for your health. Okay. If you're living with somebody who's constantly knocking you, that's not good. It's not healthy. All the cells in the body are responding to that. So what they did is each one of those petri dish was different, and then they flash froze them. So boom. And then they made crystals. And the ones that were hearing the hard rock music, that were talked down to, that had hateful words said to them, they all turned like a yellowish brown, and their crystal, like a snowflake in a way, was not unique at all. It was just drab and dreary and sickly. Whereas the ones where it heard all the positive, classical music, Christian music, prayerful music, and spoken beautiful words too, they became and formed the most amazing crystals ever. Stunning, beautiful. Like formations that could never be seen again. They were just so beautiful.
Okay. I totally, well, not totally get it, but I do get it. And there's a lot of more that we could, I like to, meditation is one issue here,
Yes.
along with Wi-Fi, 5G, 6G. I mean, how
Yes.
many G's, ramping it up. And to think like this is a military grade
Yes.
technology and a weapon that's
They know
being
what they're doing.
used
Yeah.
on the people of the planet. It's a war on consciousness. It always has
Hmm.
been and always will be. But to think, how is this impacting people on not just from a psychological and spiritual standpoint, but uh, cellular, molecular, uh, right down to the very core of our DNA. And what
Hmm.
can we do to combat? All I can really come up with, besides the solutions that you're offering, is meditation and mindfulness. Uh,
Meditation,
yeah. Hmm.
change your environment to positivity. Sometimes when I'm working at my desk, I will play just really calming kind of music. Don't you love it when you walk into like a spa
Ah,
or yeah, they always have like
sure.
amazing
The
calming.
ambiance.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
So, and then nutrients. It's very, most of the nutrients that are out on the market are very toxic. They have
Mm.
glutens in them. They come out of China, and there's not a lot of regulation, and there's just a lot of bad. They put synthetics and fillers in there, and there's just not a lot of care taken. The things that I use for myself personally, my family, my clients are all from here in America, and the mineral mines are here. And so what I take is incredibly powerful, and it's fighting off the wrinkles. It's keeping weight off. It gives me great sleep at night. I don't have aches and pains. I have nothing wrong with me. Perfect blood pressure, perfect blood sugar levels, no issues with bones or joint. And that's because I take care of myself internally. If you see something on your face, your fingernails, or your tongue, or any other spots on your body, or you're on prescriptions, or you're needing surgery, pick up the phone and call me first, and let's get it reversed. Most everything disappears, most everything, within 4 to 6 months when it comes to the ailments. When I first became a naturopathic doctor, there was somewhere around 4 to 600 so-called incurable diseases. Now, when I did a search last January, I found articles that said that there was over 1,000 so-called incurables now. That's a lie, you guys. They're just calling it that so that they can disease manage you.
Mhm.
It's a lie. Those things are reversible. And that's where I come in. That's my career. That's what I do. And I have amazing, amazing testimonials and people that love what I do and are so grateful that they found me because they heard me on a show like this. So,
That's right. So Amos Dale, 777, David Wilkus, Joshua Allen Huckle. Who else we got there? Coming in, popping in. We are the creator. Badass, perfect timing, bro. A couple comments coming our way via David. So incredible. Oh, so you're definitely picking up a fan or two here for sure. Fasting and
awesome.
prayer. Yeah. Fasting and
Fasting and
prayer.
prayer is great.
Yeah. Apple cider vinegar and cayenne pepper and
I
dive
like
into this
those,
earth start today
but you got to make sure you brush your teeth. You're going to lose your enamel. So,
with the apple cider vinegar.
yeah. And also, you have to be careful in this country now. There's a couple things coming out in the news about those things. Look, I do not, and I have spoken to Patricia Bragg. I had her on radio. I have her phone number in my phone. I would not buy that anymore because she no longer owns it. And the people that do, there's a lot of information out there that the guy who bought up all the farmland, Bill Gates,
Yeah.
they're using his apples. He bought up a bunch of the apple farms, and he's using his appeal system. Whether it's true or not, I cannot confirm. I've seen people swear by it, but then on their website, they deny it. So I don't know the truth, but it does look different. So I don't buy it anymore.
It seems like almost all of our vegetables and fruits have degraded over the years, not
Yes.
as
Yeah.
as as delicious, as healthy, as
Hmm.
scrumptious as
People
they
need to
once
grow their
were.
own. They need to grow their own and become self-sufficient, get out of the cities, become self-sufficient. That's what they need to do, everyone. And join up with a community of like-minded people, swap foods. You grow this, I'll grow this. You don't need to have tons of acreage, but I just feel like the cities are just so unhealthy anymore. And I live on the outskirts of Miami. I mean, my address is Miami, and I want out. I want to go someplace else at this point because I just want to get back to the earth. I'm tired of the way things are.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people share those sentiments. So now, gosh, we're almost at the bottom of the hour. 90 minutes basically is what we allot here typically with each weekly, feature show. Uh, so we're kind of winding things down at the moment, but I'm doing a little multitasking here behind the scenes as well. As you can probably
Okay.
imagine, things are going well. Uh, so the election, I know, politics. You seem to be, you're out there. You are a Trump supporter, more or less.
Hmm.
I got to finish with the World Health Organization too, but so we'll come back to that don't let me forget. But Trump, a lot of people they forget they think it's just Trump and Biden, but actually it's a three-man race. There's no women that are running for, well, maybe they're running for president, but they're not the head of their parties. So basically a three-man race. Although, hang on, Nikki
Hmm.
Haley, can't forget about her crazy stuff. Like what?
Yeah.
It's amazing to watch this people, just their egos are so out of control. Oh man. But anyways, RFK Jr. He's a pretty health oriented fellow. I don't know if you looked into his policies or what he is promising to deliver to the American people, but could you perhaps be swayed to vote for him in the event that
No.
not at all? So he finds his way onto the
No.
ballot in Florida, and it's like, no way, you're Trump all the way. Is that right?
And but I have a reason why.
Right.
Okay, so Nikki Haley's all over the news for cheating on her husband left, right, and center. So I have zero respect for her. Um, and I didn't before that, but that's like the latest news. And apparently she didn't think that was any big deal. And I think that's a humongous testimony to her character.
They're all doing
Uh,
it. They're all Christy Noem, who's a Republican. I guess something's come out on her now, and this Fannie Willis, where is she out of Georgia? She's trying to take
yeah,
Trump down, and that's just
also
that's
disgusting.
well, it's all kind
Yeah.
of coming out, and the optics are not that great. So, but sorry, I cut you off there. Continue, please.
Yeah, no, it's totally okay. So Robert Kennedy Jr. No, what he's Robert RFK is what you're calling him,
Junior,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So the thing about him, I like his stance on all of the nutrients and vitamins and all of that.
the
I
kill
super back
shots,
him.
yeah.
Yeah. But then when it comes to other issues, he basically would go more left leaning, and that I'm not okay with. So
Left
he would
leaning in
sell,
what sense, though, exactly? What do you mean by left leaning?
I knew I couldn't give you an exact example, but there was something about I couldn't even tell you. I
Maybe
can't. I
maybe
can't.
social society
Yeah,
based
I mean,
policies, economics.
it was a policy, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't really, I don't care about that. I'm fine with that." And it was something that was just devastating to our country.
Hmm.
So I was like, "Okay, that's it. No for him." So I just mentally filed that and
Uh-huh.
said, "He's an absolute no."
Yeah.
The only one that's saying everything
And delivering.
properly and delivering, and he's out there standing up against these monsters, is Donald Trump. So I actually, what does the shirt say? It says deplorable crossed out. Uh, let's see, listless vessel crossed out. These are all the things we've been called. And then the next line on it says patriot.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they think we are the enemy of America. They today came out and said, if you live rural and you grow your own food and you're white, you're the biggest enemy of America. And I said, oh, okay, so the founding fathers, they were the enemies of America too. They totally against them because they just put everybody into that category who wants to be free of them. Just leave us the hell alone. Go away. Go away. Leave us alone. We don't want to, you know, live in your warped world. We just want to be left alone, grow our own food, not have toxins, breathe fresh air, you know, and people need to stand. And I'm very concerned also about who's been let into our country.
Oh God.
What people have heard in the news about 3 girls having been murdered and a 14-year-old getting gang raped in the last week to 2 weeks. It goes way beyond that.
Yeah.
People are getting beat to a pulp by some of these immigrants. And just like barely.
Invaders is really, I can't, you know, is the term.
Yeah.
It's I can't help but, you know, put out there because, look, myself, I've long been a supporter of, well, first of all, there's the queue. There's doing it the proper way rather than just coming in,
Yeah.
storming the gates, jumping the queue, and you know, playing the system, as it were, especially under the, you know, sleepy Biden's watch. But genuine, you know, a bona fide, legitimate political refugees, for the most, absolutely, of course, not a problem. But see, the thing is, so many elections. Tony Blair out of the UK, Castro up in Canada, Justin Castro, or
Castro
Justine,
Jr.
yeah, and Biden. They all know that this immigration business is critical to them securing a political win. And
Yeah.
even Tony Blair, once again, apparently that was pivotal to his time in office in both terms. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the whole Kalergi plan or not. You might.
No, I've not heard of that.
Look it up. It might really be something for you to that'll be worth your while. The Count Kalergi plan, Kalergi. So, but yeah, order out of chaos is what we're looking at as far as I'm circumcised.
Okay.
You know, it's like order a total full blown order out of chaos. All right. Well, yeah, not everyone is a fan of Trump. Some of the people commenting here, but you know, there are. Look, I mean, if
but
Biden,
are you really a fan of Biden?
Well, exactly. Yeah.
I
Is
mean,
there
he
anyone
is
better?
literally thrashing our country.
Yeah. No, and
haven't we had enough?
Let's go back to one of the first things, once again, that Trump did when he came into office the first time around was they withdrew from the World Health Organization, any membership or affiliation whatsoever, and that really that
that was a major
made a bit
and
of a stir.
very important move, because now the way things are, the WHO, they are getting priority over what we are saying as doctors here in this country. For those that came in late, I had a video taken down that was 8 years old that was on the benefits of CBD. And I was told because the World Health Organization is not in alignment with them. So good luck with what's coming down the pike if they get to lord over all of us.
Yeah.
You won't have anything good, and they will run people like me out. And I'm one who has the knowledge and the wisdom to implement things that can save life.
Right. Yeah. No, it's really quite amazing, and really, well, like I said, there's a war. It's what we regard here as the war on humanity, and we're getting hit from from all sides, this full spectrum dominance. What do they call it? It's like fifth generational asymmetrical warfare. So Bill Gates, let's call them out and put them in their place too. And if
Hmm.
this gets us, have some run into some problems with boob tube or not, well, that's
You probably will.
yeah. Well, that's we're waiting for it. We've really at the total cat and mouse game here over the last couple of years with them on the
Hmm.
verge of nearly getting shut down. But and in the meantime, Bill Gates himself, he's the money guy. Apparently, he's the primary funder of the World Health Organization, which I mean, you're right, they lord over the world. They in conjunction with the whole lockstep agenda, courtesy of the
Hmm.
Rockefellers and the Club of Rome. Let's not forget them. They figure quite prominently in all this. Trudeau Senior was a longtime member of that club, and of course we know Justine, his his son in name only. I guess you would call surrogate son is a proud member of the Klaus Schwab, aka Rothschild. His youth, what is it? The Global Youth Pro, Leadership Program. Trudeau is a product of that. Putin is as well too. Interestingly, so is that just a coincidence or what exactly? But so Bill Gates, the money guy, most of the bureaucrats, the technocrats, they're CCP, is how the story goes. It's China, China. It's the bureaucratic infrastructure,
Yeah.
and then Biden is he heavily in on it too. So those are the three main, um, as far as what we're aware of, the glue essentially holding it all together, and who should be called out. Uh, but
If people want to be free, putting this guy in power again for another 4 is not going to get them free. Our country is out of control right now.
yeah.
And, we've got, I don't know what the number is. I've heard 22 million that have come across. Have you heard a different number?
Oh my God, no, it's more like five, six, seven at
Oh, no, I
the
think it's
most.
more.
It could be.
Um,
Who knows? Yeah.
yeah. And a lot of them criminals. These countries have emptied their prisons out and they've let these people be here. Women, children, and many men are just not safe here anymore. Um, I had a friend today who was on duty last night. They were telling a story to me today, and they said that there was a boat coming in to the shoreline in Florida that had a bunch of these invaders in it. And in Florida, we don't play around. DeSantis runs them right back out. So, they're dealing with them. They're not going to get to stay in this country. So,
Well, and we do know what Trump is promising, of course, that to oversee the largest ever deportation of illegal immigrants. And I imagine he will deliver if he has the opportunity. The problem is the rigged game, the way things are set
yeah.
up with these phony electronic so-called voting systems. Do you know that they can be hacked in under a minute? And
Yeah. And they knew this like 10, 15 years ago. So why are they still in place? People have been testifying. People who put it together testified. Why are people not like locked up and keys getting thrown away? Why are they still in place?
well, that's right. And why are the major candidates, especially Trump and Kennedy, I've yet to hear them say a single thing about the electronic voting that once again can be hacked in
Yeah.
under a minute. And now with the rise of AI as well too. We just had a guy on board here that we interviewed last week, as a matter of fact. It was unscheduled, it was breaking exclusive, and he picked up. We'll send you the link after the show if you're interested. You might get a kick out of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's a professional magician living out of New Orleans. He's got a bit of a knack for technology and maybe hacking to a certain extent. and whatnot. But he put something together that I guess he almost thought was a prank. He got paid $150 for it. It ended up being used as a robocall message in
Oh boy.
The New Hampshire primaries, and it
Oh,
got widely distributed throughout New Hampshire with this phony Joe Biden AI character uh,
that's hilarious.
telling people not to vote. I guess
That's hilarious.
yeah, so the open primaries, and I'm not entirely clear on how the American system works with the open primaries and saving your vote, but that's what that's what the deal was there on that front. So, and it made
Well, the
national
thing
news. It
is
was
Joe
all over
Biden.
Fox, CNN. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
See, I don't even have a TV. I don't watch any of
neither
it.
do we.
If I
Neither
don't,
do we.
yeah.
No TV.
But
All of
Joe
it.
Biden is so confused. I could see him actually saying that.
Oh,
So,
do you know? Well, you know who's really pulling the strings, apparently, right?
yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
And who would that be? What's your theory on that?
For sure, Obama. He said
Yeah,
that that would be the most ideal thing. So,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
The
he's
rumor is that they'll pull Joe and put Mikey in.
so
So,
you actually well, it's I mean Joan Rivers right before she mysteriously died with what was for all intents and purposes a
I think she's the one who really brought it all to light. And then all of a sudden, all these videos pop up where, Michelle Obama, and Obama called him Mike several times.
really
But yeah, and then you look at the footage of when he was dancing on the stage with, I can't think of her name right now, the blonde haired talk show host lady, um, Ellen. And Michael towered over all of the men that were on the stage dancing as well. So Michael has an Adam's apple. Michael has
yeah,
like
right.
shoulders so broad.
Yeah.
Michael has a penis that flops around in a lot of the videos. So, like, I've seen this. If I've seen it, everyone's seen it. I don't even have a TV, and I've seen this. So, I mean, it's got to be out there. People have been
Yeah.
talking about it.
You know
Yeah.
what, and to cap things off, the real kicker to it all is how Obama himself, I'm not sure if you're aware of the whole Larry Sinclair,
Yeah.
gay
Yeah.
sex,
And
crack
see,
cocaine
that
business.
was all out there.
Yeah,
That was all
yeah.
out there. That's
And
been being
oh,
blocked
oh, yeah,
forever.
well, oh, that's the role of that's what the Mockingbird mainstream media does. They play the role of the gatekeepers. That's one of the first things that you learn or at least you did back in the day. Maybe they don't even let you in on that at this stage. But the journalism school and media studies, as per what my experience was, strictly, the print form newspapers, but
Hmm.
we did have this uh, that addressed at least that the establishment media plays the role of the gatekeepers. They dictate the parameters over to the
Hmm.
window, as it were, and the filter, the spin. It's just endless manipulation games and mind control. Really, total mind
Hmm.
control. What is allowed on the air? What is not?
That's the whole thing. I mean, once there was free speech platforms, then all of these things started to really circulate. They still keep it all blocked on the platforms they own, and that happen to be the mainstream. It's piped into every airport. It's piped into gyms. It's piped in. I don't know how they got all this far reach. They started out probably little milk toast, but they didn't remain that way, and they've gone total, totalitarian on these airwaves. So unless you get to a free speech platform, you don't know these things. So I look at my parents who are up in age, and if I go visit them, it's CNN and Fox, and they think they're getting legit news. And that's what's happening everywhere. All the nursing homes, where they go in and they sway the vote, and voters that are voting that never voted, and you know, I mean, it's a brainwash, 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 brainwash. They don't stop. They go 24/7. That's why they went 24/7, probably.
Yeah.
So you just have to shut it all off and go live your life to the best of your ability and be as healthy as you possibly can to the best of your ability
Hmm.
and unplug from all of that drama.
Yeah.
And, if war comes on your soil, stand. And in the meantime, protect your wife, protect your kids, and, protect yourself. Be free of all that negativity. That's why I don't have a TV. I don't want to watch it. I don't,
Hmm.
I catch the clips of it, of course,
Yeah.
but
Sure. And absolutely. There's a reason they call it programming. Let's not forget, just to
yes.
add to what you were, you were sharing with us. Catapult the propaganda, as per what I
Hmm.
guess George Bush so famously, you know, uh, let out. You know, back in the day, that was his little cat insider sort of behind the scenes catchphrase. Catapult the propaganda. And let's not forget, and just to really cap things off here as we steer the Robin Hood back into Skullport Harbor and call it a day, that the power of the heart. This is something I've really been reflecting upon a great deal as of late. The heart as compared to the brain, and the power of the heart is something which the ancient Egyptians, I guess, used to apparently embalm human hearts.
Oh,
Um,
I didn't know that.
yeah, supposedly. Maybe was it in honey or what exactly? They were big into honey and cats, of
Mhm.
course. But yeah, just to as we call it a day here and put this one to bed. Uh, the power of the heart, uh, as compared to the brain, but just the power of if with through meditation. And see, because I like you're sort of you're well, even if you're a practicing Christian of sorts, is that right? I don't know your
Yes. Yeah.
denomination.
I'm spiritual. I pray. I talk to God. I don't
Okay,
wait for Sunday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've read the New Testament, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so you know where Jesus talks about, he says, "Be not like these hypocrites that go out and make a big public spectacle of
Hmm.
themselves with their phylacteries and all sorts of parading and around, like, big religious peacocks. And those phylacteries, I guess, from what I understand, are the arm wraps that the Jewish religious, maybe the
Hmm.
rabbis use. So,
Hmm.
but he said, go back to your house, your room, essentially. Sit down, shut the door, and just quiet yourself and relax. You will find your center, I guess. Ground yourself, and that's the way to do it. That's how you find God. We're both as humans apparently transmitters as well as receivers of
Hmm.
energy. So,
Yeah.
but take care with our be aware and mindful of the thoughts that we have, and to be really, I don't know what you care to add to that, but it's the mind. It's said that it's really important for us to take heed, and to be to be aware, and to make that heart connection too, obviously, and to share that with the world. That's what I always try to do here with this the live stream that we have, right straight through. I'm not sure if you're a big chakra person or not, but from the heart to the crown and just out, radiating once all the negative energy has been like processed and done away
Hmm.
with. So yeah, basically that sort of deal. But
Yeah.
there we go. So the body can, the heart can too, I guess, maybe. Hopefully.
Hmm.
But and thank you so much. Oh my God, just amazing amount of wisdom, knowledge, education. Let's take one final gander here to the chat end of things. Great top pick, I guess, is what David is saying here, presumably with reference to you, of course. So and there's
Thank you, David.
yeah. There's a few other comments here. He's quite active and busy over on Facebook, as is Joshua has been. So, uh, the rebel against God. All right. that will. So we'll have to go back. Yeah, the comments. If they actually, we've been having problems with Facebook wanting to shut us down continually. As I think I
This
was
one
saying,
might do it.
it's crazy. Pardon
This one
me.
might do it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
said this one might do it.
Oh well, don't you know what? We will be able to rip the raw conversation and feed and have it archived via both BitChute and Odyssey. So the body can. That's what people really need to remember, obviously, and keep in mind. Anything more you'd like to add to things before we?
Yep, just the body can heal itself. It just has to be empowered, and that's what we do. We load the gun so that you can go into that fight, reverse things, get off of things. And just throw my number out again, 844-275-1056. If you came out and started listening late, go back and listen to the beginning, because we actually put a lot of really great information on the front end. And I hope that this was valuable information for somebody, and act on it. If you need help, reach out, don't hesitate. If you want to work with me with the sharing program, it's amazing. It's legit, and it's all across the America now, and it's really picked up massively. In fact, the Texas Association of Chiropractors just came on board. So imagine that. So it's pretty amazing.
And it's simply called the Sharing Program?
If they reach out, I'll give the actual like whole thing, but I have a link to it, and I'll just totally send it out. I kind of want to describe it all and give the link once they connect with me. So just 844-275-1056.
Mm-hmm. And people can
you could get lost on the internet with that.
Yeah. People can easily become an email list member as well too, from what I understand. And you have a Facebook
Yeah, it's
group.
really easy.
Yeah.
If anybody wants my good and bad food list, it's totally free on the website, thebodycan.com, and they just put their email right in there, right on the homepage, and it will send them within the hour. I don't know why I use MailChimp, and it takes like up to an hour to come and check your spam too. It's all automated. It's not me doing it.
We had an issue with that, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know why it's an hour, but some people say, "Oh, I didn't get it," but it'll show up in your spam or your regular. It will come if you put your email in.
Mm-hmm.
And I never spam anybody. I don't have time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Do keep in touch. You have a great weekend, and we're going to pass your name and website along to a few people here. Maybe have you appeared as a guest on their show as well.
Awesome.
So
okay. That sounds great. All different audiences all over the world. I love it.
Thank you, Dr. Randi.
Thank you so much.
Happy sailing.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, there we go. How about that? Yeah, we just let her make her way on out to take care of whatever business she has on the go via Miami, Florida. What a great place to live in many ways, you would think. As she was alluding to, the city has its issues, obviously, and she's looking to relocate if possible. Maybe someone out there within, listening to this week's show could have some potential leads or ideas. So, I mean, this is really what it's all about, folks. This underground, independent, grassroots networking. The major mainstream media is really going through a radical transformation and downscaling. There's no doubt about that. And, so many now, these more established people, the likes of, who's this? Like, Chris Como, Hillary Clinton are two big names that come to mind. There's got to be a few others, of course. I'll have to take a little, better note of what's going on. But with the way that they're launching their own podcasts and live streams. Bill Maher, like, stay in your own lane, people. I mean, come on. They have these national huge politically incorrect platforms, and more, of course, uh serving in political office for how many years, and as a host on a major network, television network. Yet the reach is not sufficient for them, the platform not producing in the way that they would hope it would. So they've got to retool, refurbish, recalibrate, reconsider, and jump into our lane. Oh God, I there's something. I mean, somebody should write a song about it, I guess, would be one answer. But there's just something quite off-putting about the whole thing. In the meantime, though, yes, the body can. I'm just really quite uh, quite blown away by Dr. Randi's deep, knowledge, learning, understanding, grasp. Of course, I mean, she's been studying it uh, for quite a few years. We, in fact, before we call it a day here, we have a blurb, actually, something that we ripped off of, I think it was YouTube. She has a Rumble presence along with Instagram, Facebook group, once again, so on and so forth. So, but this is really kind of a very, very enlightening and helpful video where she gives an overview rundown of her career and life experience within the world of holistic uh, healing, essentially, and medicine. So let's check this out. Hopefully, all of our levels are where we like them to be. People manage to gain even more awareness, deeper understanding of what really she represents, and what she fights for.
Hi, my name is Randi Shannon, and I have had a love and passion for natural remedies since my early 20s. I received my education through the Trinity School of Natural Medicine, and since then I have studied with every kind of doctor, from ER medical doctors to acupuncturists, naturopaths, veterinary medicine, holistic chefs, and professors. I believe as soon as we enter the world, our bodies are under threat, and that is why preventative care is so important to each of us. We have to be observant of our body's changes, and this is where fingernail, tongue, and body analysis is most helpful. This is a diagnosis or analysis that has evolved over thousands of years, resulting in a methodology so precise and natural that it's hailed as an art form. I seek clients that want a better understanding of their body's inner workings. I lay out a plan that helps you address your health issues. We talk about dietary recommendations, herbal and nutritional supplementations, and I outline this for you. We are looking specifically for physical markers that are on the body. We use the face, nails, eyes, abdomen, and more. Reach out to me to get scheduled today. 319-804-9163. 319-804-9163. Leave a message. I will call you back, and we will get started or answer any questions that you may have. Thanks for listening.
All right, there we go. And we will have to double check to make sure that is in fact, current phone number that she shared with us. a couple of times actually. During the conversation that we had here over the past, nearly 2 hours, really helping to go that extra mile. Amazing spiritual warrior. We will probably be back, God willing, this coming Tuesday night. It's the usual World Pirate Radio News. Time slot, of course, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 on the East Coast. That's Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Via Tokyo and Seoul. WPRPN.com is a website. Sign up is free. Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com is our main email address. It's Pirate, the numeral 1 Radio at protonmail.com. If you have any help you'd like to support, to offer us through PayPal, very much appreciated. Half of everything goes directly back to the grassroots, whether it's that approach, way of doing things. The Teespring, of course, with the coffee mugs and t-shirts, Patreon, or what have you. Very much in conjunction with the whole WWRHD, what would Robin Hood do, ethos and philosophy. Be sure to keep in touch, folks. Keep in the loop. The email is also great for that very reason. Immediately, you're able to join us and become part of our email member list. Also, if you have any show suggestions or guest ideas in mind, that's the way to let us know what exactly it is you're thinking, and we'll do all we can to get them booked at some point here along the way. I'm off to feed the cats, of course. Hope everyone has a great weekend and that you have managed to glean at least a thing or two, health-wise, holistically, courtesy of what Dr. Randi had to offer. Hopefully, boob tube won't come down too hard on us. Of course, I always try to offer the caveat that, and it'd be interesting, this is one of the things that I was going to actually bounce off of her, this business of how we're not here to formally offer any. It's kind of tricky in this sense because she is a doctor, of course, so she does have the appropriate credentials, and that makes it very problematic, especially why they would come after her. So petty. The CBD issue, because the World Health Organization takes exception to that. Bill Gates is not a fan of CBDs, I guess. The CCP, no fan of CBDs. Almost have a song lyric coming together there, don't we? Keep up the good fight, folks. On behalf of Captain Long John Sinclair and all the rest of the crew here down in Skullport Harbor, until we meet again via these high, often all too intrepid digital seas, I'm your host, as always, Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder, reminding you, as always, keep your eyes to the sky and ear to the ground. Tally-ho!
I know. There we be. Having carefully looked over each of our navigation panel instruments,
checking every level, switch, dial, cable, knob, and pulley, by all accounts and indications, we indeed see it's time once again to drop anchor inside Mystic Bay.
Draw an end to yet another week of World Pirate Radio Live.
Remember,
if you're looking for a little more animated online action,
keep in mind we've likely got yet another great free-flowing Rogues Gallery after show
coming up for the next hour in one of our more premium, exclusive, and remote digital underground online pirate hideaways. Also, if you yourself have a new,
novel, intriguing, or otherwise underreported idea, unique individual, or pressing item in mind, be sure to either drop us a line directly over on WPRPN.com or fire us a quick email
via Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com.
We're always open to exploring fresh creative suggestions, intriguing guest ideas, cutting-edge discussion topics, and captivating themes.
Remember, WPRPN.com member site subdomain links are also always available.
Great for artists, musicians, podcasters, bloggers, social media personalities,
or pretty much just any old land lover
looking to boost their online visibility, presence, and reach.
Basic personal profile accounts can be launched for just $60 per year.
Staking your claim now helps not only strengthen you and the network, we're also looking out for the little guy. That's right, folks. As much as half of all WPRPN's profits are redirected right back into the hands of the people who really need it most. Community charity. After all, we are the Robin Hood.
You can further embark on your own personal pirate journey by either liking, sharing,
commenting on, subscribing to, or just following us via virtually any mainstream social media platform, including Twitter, Facebook,
Gab,
or Minds.com. So don't forget to become engaged. Until we meet again out on the high digital seas, I'm your host as always, the ship's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. Tally-ho.